of Tartu. Good afternoon to everyone here and online. My name is Agnes Aljas from the Estonian National Museum. This is the museum that is famous for having large collections of Estonian national culture. And I'm trying to use our example on how the repository of national culture does not end in the 19th century, but we continue in modern days. We research the modern day culture, and at one point it will become national culture. And it was really interesting to listen to these different presentations today about problems in museums everywhere. This is the routine, daily routine of people working in museums. You always have to decide what is your role, what kind of a role you are taking. What mandate you have, how you position yourself, whether it is a political or more routine issue. And nowadays we are also all influenced by the financial issues that museums play in cities, towns, societies. But today I would like to focus on the digital museum. We all know that all the physical borders have been exceeded by the museums. Museums have been really good in Estonia in finding investments and going along with the digital transformation. And there are maybe not too many social media gurus like Monica, but they are appearing. But what happened during the COVID period? We all remember this. There were no tours and excursions. I'm not pushing any buttons here. So there was a real explosion when you visit Estonian exhibitions, and what you can see, how to put it, in immersive solutions. They are all very important in order for the society to understand what a museum is and how we communicate, what we know about museums, what we investigate, what our scientific cooperation is like. Also the number of games that we organize is huge. So, and as investments have been found from the tourism fields in order to provide all this. And obviously a lot of digitation is going on, and the goal is to provide greater access to the society, to increase the visibility and importance of the heritage in the society. And this is also that has been written into all these strategies. So this optimism of heritage is going to save the world and brings along different entrepreneurship, development. So this optimism is great about this. And this should bring us along as the sector of museums and heritage. In real term, this actually means that the users do not always come along with this. Take, for example, our museum example. When the new building was opened, there was a needs-based innovation, is the e-ticket of the museum, which is a very good digital solution that helps us avoid the situation where when a person comes to the exhibition, they cannot see the text in 5 languages, but by using the digital ticket, they can just pick the right language, and they can also download the text to understand more about the background of the materials that are being presented at the museum. And they can also read this text later in home. So it's about 350 pages written by different scientists, which have been simplified several times all over so that the broader public can have access to this. And the foreigners are really happy to do this when they are just ending up in our museum only once in their lifetimes. But as long as there is no interactivity in this development, then this remains a passive thing. And the investment that has been made, that originally was also meant for the visitors to choose and find this content that is important for them. So this is the technology is still an obstacle for this, because we will not be able to go along with all these digital and technological developments that are happening elsewhere in the technological world. I put here one slide about these new boundaries. Being digitally optimistic, we are not speaking about that too much. This is the AI optimism that has arrived in Estonia. And this optimism is based on the hope that maybe something emerges that makes it possible for us to present and tie together the materials that people are interested in, so that we would have environments that would help people find answers to every question. But clearly, the decision has not been made in Estonia in order about what to do about these huge repositories of heritage. For example, the National Archive has 6 million items presented. The Museum's public portal has 3 million. Then there's libraries with its Ester platform that we have digitized in order to better operate this heritage and how to better find the items. And on the other hand, no decision has been made and no need has been there. We have disclosed all this in our very complicated systems that proceed from the 100-year-old solutions of museums and archives. And we have not advertised those too much. The users of these repositories and collections are traditionally the same who were there 50 years ago. Researchers, students, people like that. And the disclosure side has been just a transfer from one material that used to be written into a main catalogue. So no content-related changes have been made, and so the old entry about the item is still kept. But when we look at some more analytical databases concerning the heritage, then you will have a pop-up window telling you that please take into account that this text has been written 100 or 80 years ago, when cultural items had a different meaning, or the interpretation of history was different. So history has changed over that period. And the greatest boundaries that are related to digital developments are the ones that are related to capacity to go along. This is not very high. And when you look at average European museum employing 20 persons, then definitely there's no digitally strongly literate person. But there's one example, positive example, a one-man museum. This is the Estonian National Hero Kalevipoeg Museum. They decided to create a virtual reality game about Kalevipoeg. And in order to do this, this person had to learn how the VR world was operating, how to restart everything. And definitely this adds a lot to the visitor experience. And the number of children who want to come back next day and play again in order to see how Kalevipoeg is doing. So there's a lot of interest among children in this. And if we are looking at what's happening to museums as political or ideological institutions. These attacks, the cyber attacks, have changed a lot in the museums as well. And museums are also looking at what kind of data they can disclose and what data should we close down. So this there's not so much disclosure anymore. But when we look at Estonia, then we have this museum's public portal called MUIS. And for foreigners, I can say that since this information system has been developed since 2004, it contains the items, the legends of all the museums of Estonia and archival materials, millions of them, which have been made public, and that can be downloaded, accessed by everyone as 80 mega files, and they can be interpreted just in the way the viewers want it. And this has been a great priority in the Estonian cultural politics in order to create access to these databases. And this is also the place where the administration of all the collections is happening in nowadays. So this is really positive. But we have millions of artifacts. When you enter this portal, you will find, for example, Estonians will find definitely something about their grandparents or summer houses and whatnot. So the information that is visible there is really large. But the development means that this is a very static and built up on the authoritative position. And we do not know very well who these users are and what the potential new users might expect of this. And why I was invited here today is that over the period of 2 years, within the framework of 2 projects, we have tried to find a way of defining the digital heritage, what kind of a resource it could be, and what could it bring along for us as a society. Given that video games is an industry which is a very important industry in the modern world, then we have also had access or contact with this sector and to see how the cultural heritage and video games could be combined. Our approach to the collections is traditionally focused on one item. And what we've done in our museum as well is to try and find new information and knowledge, what we can do with this quantitative amount of data, what kind of new information we can obtain on the basis of this data. And it is something that is more difficult to convey to the visitors. And here's 2 examples where we combined our forces with artists and a musician. In our carpet collection, we have 3,500 carpets, and Peeter Rebane, the musician, has tried to code these carpets in the way that when the visitor moves closer to this item or to this carpet, this becomes an interactive work of music. You can, for example, also take a photo of your clothing, and this becomes sound in the course of all this. So these are simple additional layers that have been created so that people could find some kind of connection with the national heritage. But most of these fields are filled with all sorts of collisions. When we are operating as a museum, then we do not have too much digital literacy and awareness. Our digital developments are very much project-based, and what I liked about Monica's presentation was that she said that it takes a lot of time to create content in digital. platforms. And the collision that happens between the scientific knowledge and the media world is something that is very difficult for us to combine, and you do not understand how far we can go in order to simplify things and how to go along with this simplified, fragmented content, because we want to have scientific precision. We have the curator's position. Most of the games that have been created on the basis of complicated subjects, even if they are not ordered by the museums, they end up by the creator of the games are telling us that this will never become a game, although your idea is very good. Instead, write a scientific article about this. So we are falling behind this fast developing technological field. And I have 3 examples to end about the young people that we have tested in order to give you a summary about my presentation. We all know what the young people look like today. They keep staring at all sorts of electronic platforms, spend a lot of time in these environments, and if we tell them that go to the museum's public portal, take something from there and do something about it, because they won't, because they do not understand why they should go there, how could they find something there. So instead of us to make something public or disclose something, or even if we have technology to communicate this does not mean that there's cooperation with this target group. And we do know that every generation has its pattern of consuming media. And my generation had it, and modern young people have the same. But I also know that they are creating content. Day in, day out, they are creating content. And heritage has no contact with this at all. The first example is the digital creative competition that we launched ourselves last summer, when we tried to take different approaches and different platforms in order to approach young people so that the young people could use our archives. And after we came to the understanding that this is not going to work when we just invite people. So we had finally developed some study materials for the teachers, how to seek and find data, how to have students or pupils to get to know their region's history through using games, bingo, whatnot. So that their task is to find the person with the funniest moustache, all sorts of things like that. Then we had about 160 works from different digital solutions, or how to use digital solutions, mostly memes, productions, but more intriguing solutions like creating bots from different Kalevipoeg so that you could talk to them. So these projects have shown us how to have young people of 12 to 15 years of age, how they approached the museum, saying that they have built a game on Roblox, an interesting platform for games, and they would like to tell us about this so that they could also sell items using selling objects with our logo. And then a game was developed from this, and we asked the young people to document their media use. I gave them this task last summer. Please record how you are playing, give us videos that will be included in the museum archives, and by the autumn we got 20 videos of 20 seconds, because I thought that they understood that videos were something different. But this is really good material to show us how young people connect with their city, and Tartu city planners have been really shocked how young people see their town or the city, and this shows also the problems that young people have in their world. And there's also an example about Game Jam. This is a format that is being organized by institutions that have a closer connection with the games world. And the Tartu University Institute of Computer Sciences was our partner for Game Jam related to cultural heritage. And in the course of 48 hours, young teams have to create games. And to our pleasant surprise, the heritage turned out to be quite exciting material. 22 games were created, and we also learned a lot from this. For example, that our patents repository or collections, for example, if you have a mitten in your museum and the pattern has been drawn, and then this turned out to be also a pixel art collection. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this excellent presentation. Any comments?